In the last part, we saw Chu Xia was surprised by Yu and Yue after seeing how just one sentence made him happy. What exactly is this? Chu Xia was confused and found that it was like a rock. But it was not a rock. It was like a jade, but it was not a jade. With extremely intricate craftsmanship, it had the appearance of a bell, but the inside was filled with twists and turns like a human era. Yu and Yue did not bother to answer her, but merely said, "Leave, do not be so slow." He still seems to be so entitled. Walking to the head of the two convoys as they were about to part, Chu Xiao could not help but give a serious blessing. Take care. Yue pretended to be very firm as he lightly waved his hand before calmly mounting his horse. He seemed so arrogant and cold, as though he was above all. He replied, "Remember what I have said." Having said that, he left like a boss surrounded by his guards. As the crowd gradually faded into the distance,
we can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to
Chu Xiao still stood rooted to the ground.
in the great outdoors, forever free.
Jing Jing approached, rather dazed, and muttered, "Sister, the brother-in-law seems so ruthless." Chu Xiao's face turned red, and she turned around and asked, "Mei Xing, do you know what that thing was?" She then described the bell's shape.
See the truth around you.
Before Mei Xing could reply, Ping An snatched the opportunity to talk. "Sister, if you did not see wrongly, that should be the Jingji bell from the legend. I heard that it was one of 3 treasures of the Windtalkers people. The Windtalkers were skilled with crafts and were masters of the secret art of mechanics. This Jingji bell was made by the 8 chief of their tribe. As long as one talks loudly to the bell, the sound will be saved by the bell. When the wind blows onto it, the voice will eliminate from it in the exact same tone. The only issue was that the Windtalker were hard to trace, and few have heard of their existence in recent years. Even that Jingji bell had been rumored to be lost. Where did sister see that bell? Did you hear the bell talk?" Chu Xia was slightly taken aback. The sounds of the horse galloping had all but vanished, leaving behind only a trail of dust on the road.
Bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time. It's clear to see.
Yue had left his carriage and opted to ride on his horse. Right now, he was already near the Wei border, and his men who were to meet him were close by. As such, the enters need not carefully cover their dresses any longer. The day was rather warm, without a single trace of wind. Yet, while on the horse, there was still incoming headwind brushing against the bell hanging before his neck. "Remember, I am waiting for you," a lady's voice gently resounded by his ear. It was crystal clear like an undisturbed lake, exuding serenity. His lips could not help but curl upwards, yet before he could even flash a complete smile, another pair's voice resounded. "UNUA is a beasted." The sound was so loud that all the girls were stunned. They stopped and looked at him. At the instant, UNU's face turned completely black.
You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors.
On the path leading to the east, in a certain carriage, Chu Xia was still trying her best to think while saying to herself, "Then would it not be similar to a recorder? Jingxi bell, how is it made?" "Sister, what is a recorder?" Jingjing approached and curiously inquired. Hearing that, Chu Xiao helpfully explained, "The recorder is..." Sitting on the other side of the carriage, Mei Xing looked at Chu Xiao, who was explaining the concept of the recorder to Jingjing, and could not help but to smile. Many times it was as such. When one was faced with a situation himself, he would be confused. Yet it was never so complicated in the eyes of the bystander, and one merely stubbornly refused to see the matter clearly due to something deep inside one's heart. Even for the most ingenious of people, they could still be lost when something happened to them. Sometimes one only needed to step out once, and the following incidents would change drastically. There is still much left to do. There may be other incidents happening. Are you scared? With the wind sweeping past, ripples appeared on the surface of the undisturbed waters.
Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell.
Leaning her head on his shoulder, there was a light fragrance. Her voice was almost inaudible, yet it pierced through all the remaining reservations he had left in his heart as he heard the short phrase, "I am not scared." Slightly smiling, he stretched out his hand and wrapped it around her waist. Sitting like that, they waited until dawn came.
Forever free. Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see.
That was so full of sweetness. It really makes you smile and fall in love to UNUA and Chu Xiao more and more. I am reading this story with you and reading it again and again. Now I am still listening it with you all. Thank you so much for watching. Stay with me, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified of the next part of the story. Thank you.